Good evening, Linda. It's almost morning for you.
Yeah, it is kind of, isn't it? I'm getting used to it though.
Yeah. So we're taking it back to the old school because I'm an old fool who's so cool, right?
Yeah. And I twisted your arm and held you underwater, and
Even my dog doesn't agree with that one, but that's okay.
he's
So,
like, your dog's gone
yeah.
now.
So you brought an interesting one that had to do with bank feeds, my favorite topic, and splits, right?
Yep, this is why I picked it because it is your favorite topic. It's from Simon 770, and he has his questions: increase splits for bank rules. I want to set a rule in the banking section to automatically add 20 plus splits to a single transaction. I am not kidding you on this one. Only allowed to add 20 splits maximum. Can the limit be increased? I have up to 30 splits required and currently adding 19 splits with the correct percentage for the split on the 20th line and has the balance percentage to make up the 100%. Once the rule is applied, I can edit the split and add extra lines up to the required amount. Surely if there was no limit to the splits that can be added manually, there shouldn't be a limit when creating a rule.
Simon 770. What the heck are you doing, man? Person,
Ah,
whatever. Like, I'm actually really interested to know what you're using that many splits for. I actually had to go in. I have never even looked to see how many splits were possible.
no,
And
didn't
I
know.
almost guarantee, like the developers were like, we're going to set it for 20. I mean, who's ever going to need 20 splits? So, I mean, I hope you get we're joking, but I literally, there's absolute logic behind everything you're saying. So I would love to know what it is that you're doing. I mean, at 20 splits, and its percentage, you're talking 5% each one, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
I
tiny.
mean, we could only speculate on what he's
Yeah.
using the splits for, really.
So ultimately, the number of splits that's not going to change. So I'm sure you've thought of this, but here's another suggestion instead. Assuming it maybe you're making a payment to something and you need to split it across maybe a whole bunch of properties, I don't know, something of that nature. What if you split up the payment into 2 or 3 payments and make sure that you have some kind of unique identifier that you could create 3 rules. Each rule is responsible for X portion of the splits. If you could do that, you could accomplish the exact same thing. Because when you create the rules, you could do, well, let's go back here. Literally, like, we're like, what? um, I love bank rules. So you could have it be crazy bill as part of the language that's in it, right? By using all, you can set up that if it's got a special account 0087 or something of that nature, just a thing that's consistent through it, or even better is the amount. Make it, if there's a way you can control it, by choosing the number of actual accounts that's being split, make the amounts, if they're consistently the same, make the amounts different and use the split amount, the amount of the transaction to create the trigger for the rule, which would then populate all of those different items for you. So creating what you're talking about, you're going to be looking for sure at bank text and amount if you're taking the idea I was just talking about. Your contains, does not contain, or is exactly, you may want to focus on is exactly if you have a bank memo that has everything unique in it. So in other words, some kind of an indicator, the name of whatever you're doing, plus that account number at the very beginning is exactly, would be perfect. Because you'd be sure to guarantee you just capture just that one thing if it's over and over and over again. Otherwise, you can absolutely take advantage of contains. Contains can have little bits throughout the whole bank memo populated in, and it will look for all of those, of course, before it actually suggests it. And then the last and final suggestion is another way. You could also take advantage of different cards or different accounts. So you could pay some on a different card, which would let you set the same rule on a different card and still create the different trigger to create the output that you're looking for.
So basically, you're trying to make the system work for him because you got to give him props for, using the system and
I want to know what you think.
Automation, right? He's doing automation, which is what we
Yeah.
want.
I gladly accept the challenge. I tell you what, reach out to us, and I would love to know more specifically if you're having a tough time, even from these suggestions of maybe coming up with a concept. I accept the challenge. Let's chat. And
yeah, Matthew's the bank feed guru. He gets very excited over bank feeds. So if you have the opportunity to answer here, add on the answer and give us more details, and he'll figure out a way to make this work for you. I can guarantee you that.
literally, like, I've had people in the past, and I actually need to make this more like a formal thing. They would shoot me over a text message with a picture that has the actual bank memo on it, and I would send them back a picture of the rule to create. So definitely interested to learn more. So I hope these suggestions, I know they were kind of fast, I hope they helped. But yeah, fill us in. I want to know what you're doing.
Yeah, we want to know.
All right. Well, on that note, as always, guys, here's wishing you a very successful week.